Christopher Smith saying, you're listening to Daddy's Game Time. I hope you're enjoying it. Subscribe, won't you?
Hi everyone, Francisco here for daddysgametime.com. Today we have a very special treat. I have with me Mr. Christopher Smith, a great voice actor. He's done so many things in anime as well as video games, some movies here and there. And we would like to talk a little bit about that. How are you?
I am doing very well. How are you?
Very, very good.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start by telling you a little bit about our work.
Please
basically.
do.
Our website basically is targeted toward younger parents.
Mm-hmm.
They don't always get the time to play video games,
Right.
watch movies, things and that, because the baby's crying, things.
I remember those days.
So you are a parent.
I am.
So how do you handle your career while taking care of a family?
Well, my son is now 17.
Right.
So he's a lot more self-sufficient than he was, and it's just he and I. But he's been a gamer his whole life, and that has influenced me, not just working on games, but now I actually enjoy playing them as well. There isn't a whole lot of that young family juggling that I have to do. In fact, really none of it. But I do have my teenage son, and so there's a little bit involved there. But I do remember the days of how do I get this done, and how do I take care of my child as well.
Yeah.
So things that are encapsulated and easily digestible like this, very appreciated.
Yes, that's pretty awesome. And what does your son think about you doing this kind of stuff? Because as you say, he's a gamer, he's into the whole pop culture thing, and you're a big icon into that medium.
He can be pretty casual about it. I remember when he was a little kid, when he was in second or third grade or something like that, and he just sort of thought, and he actually told me this specifically. He said, well, isn't this what everybody does? So you're in cartoons, so
right.
You do video games, doesn't everyone? And it wasn't until I actually went to there was a career day at his school when he was in third grade, and I went there and I took video clips and I took posters and I took pictures of the things that I did, and I watched him watch the kids around him, and the kids around him were just like, oh my God, you're in this show? I love this show. And he's looking at them going, oh,
I guess my dad is famous.
I guess this is cool after all. But he still kind of has that attitude. He certainly doesn't let my head get too big.
Oh, that's good. No, but one of the things that I noticed is that you have voiced the Joker in the Lego video game.
That is true. I have.
And my wife and I love playing those games.
Oh, that's really cool. Thank you.
Because my wife doesn't really get into the more hardcore gaming,
right.
And she loves the whole more, childish, cartoony looks, and she loves the whole acting behind the voices. Specifically, her favorite is the Joker.
Oh, that is so cool to hear. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow, you just made my day.
Yeah, and one of the things is that I remember, watching the old Batman animated series.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Hamill actually voiced the Joker in those.
He did indeed, yes.
And he was so great at it. But then we listened to the ones in the Lego games, and it's like, is that Mark Hamill? It sounds just like him.
Wow, thank you very much.
Did you inspire yourself in Mark Hamill's Joker, or?
Oh, there's definitely a little bit of that. When I auditioned for the role, the man that was directing it and holding the auditions was someone that I was working with on a cartoon series on Nickelodeon at the time. And he said, how's your superheroes? And I said, they're fine. I had recently done Superman for Mortal Kombat versus DC.
Okay.
So I thought, yeah, I do superheroes. I do Superman. So he says, well, come in and audition. And I went in, and he said, pick 3. So I picked the Riddler, Superman, and Batman. Mm-hmm. And I went in, and he looked at the copy that I had chosen, and he took the Riddler, and he put it away. He goes, no, you're not going to do that one. And he looked at Superman, and he goes, no, you're not going to do that one. Okay, here, try Batman, and how's your Joker? Well, and the answer is always yes. Great.
Yes, of course.
My Joker's great. So I went out, and I practiced my Batman, and I practiced my Joker, and I could do the laugh. So I knew that was fairly solid, and I had watched Batman the Animated Series a lot. So, I was very familiar with Mark Hamill's performance. He's terrific. I grew up with him as an icon, as Luke Skywalker, and then as a Joker and so many other things. So I went back in, and I did the laugh, and I did the voice, and they weren't expecting me to have been able to do that. And the next thing I knew, I got a call, and I got the role.
Wow.
So I don't know if I answered your question or if I just went off on a tangent.
No, you didn't. You give us a little explanation of how you got there.
Yeah.
And that's precisely what I was looking for. Now that you mentioned and touched on Mark Hamill, I noticed that you've also voiced Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
So how does that come around? It's like coming full circle.
It kind of is. I mean, again, Mark Hamill's voice is something that I grew up hearing because I saw Star Wars a million times, and that was back like in theaters.
Wow.
When everything was lit by candles and stuff. And so I'm very familiar with his cadences and his pitch and his tone and things like that. And the opportunity came around to do it. And in fact, I was having lunch at Disney with the people who were the producers of Phineas and Ferb.
Right.
And we're all huge Star Wars geeks. Huge Star Wars geeks. And we were talking about mutual experiences with the movie and things like that. And I have a couple of artifacts from Industrial Light and Magic.
Wow.
From back in the day, and I was showing that to them, and they said, well, if you happen to know anybody who does a good, Mark Hamill from 1977, let us know. And I went, funny you should mention that, because I wasn't thinking about it at all.
Right.
Not at all.
You were just right there. No.
Just like, oh, what a good idea. Hey, by the way, me. And it just worked out. It worked out really, really well. So I did it for Phineas and Ferb, and then I just got to do it again for the Ellen DeGeneres show.
I saw that.
Yeah,
that was so funny.
That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. And that just happened because I was walking through my agent's office, because I go in there to do my auditions, and that piece came through, and I'm walking past my agent, and she goes, hey, Chris, how's your Mark Hamill? I went, funny you should ask. So we did it, and they actually cast me that day.
Pretty awesome.
So I read for it, they cast me that day, and then I think we recorded it the next day, and they aired it the same day that we recorded it. So things happen fast.
Wow.
Things happen really, really fast on the Ellen show.
So when that happens, I'm sure they give you a script so you can read.
Oh,
the
yeah.
lines.
Oh, yeah.
Are you watching the screen as it's happening while reading the script, or how does that process work?
No, what I did was I listened to the trailer for episode 7
Force
over
Awakens.
and over and over and over and over. Because they wanted as close of a match to his sound,
and all that, yeah.
to the pitch and the pacing and the cadence and the acting
Right.
of it. So I tried to match that as best as possible. And then also what they kept doing was saying, we recorded it once and we thought we were done. And then they kept sending new scripts, and every time it was an emergency. It's like, we need this for tomorrow, or whenever later today, or whatever it was. It was always an emergency, and with new versions of the script, kept getting funnier and funnier and funnier. And, because they wanted to talk about, yes, this dog has the force, this cat doesn't have the force.
I saw that. That's cracking up. Wow. And, since we are at an anime convention, I mean, it's only fair that we talk about anime.
Let's talk. We might as well.
So, is this your first Fanime, or have you been here before?
This is my first Fanime as an official guest.
Okay.
I was here as a guest of a buddy of mine who's the chief financial officer for the convention. And he and I hadn't seen each other in years, and I was up in the Bay Area, and he said, well, I'm going to be at Fanime, so why don't you come by and we'll have dinner and stuff like that. That was back in 2012, I think. And at that point, he said, you should think about being a guest here. And I said, I would love to be a guest here. And things got in the works. But in 2013, I wound up in New Zealand over Memorial Day. So I couldn't be here. But things have worked out. It's a fantastic convention. I am so impressed with how they run things. What a tight ship it is. Nothing falls through the cracks. And if it's been falling through the cracks, I haven't noticed. They're that good.
Yeah, this is our first Fanime as well. We got invited. They offered us, you guys want to cover it? I'm like, okay. We didn't know what to expect, obviously. And we, like yourself, we've been very impressed and we're very happy. But the anime question that I wanted to ask you, Attack on Titan.
Uh-huh.
You have voiced a character in that series.
I do.
And that series, I believe the first season ended about 2 years ago or so here in the States. Now they say that they're bringing it back. They don't know when. I believe one of the Japanese actors mentioned that it's coming back in 2016, I believe. Are you going to be involved in it?
I would be involved if they ask. I would have to play a different character.
Right, obviously.
Because my spoiler, turn it off now if you don't want to hear this. Because things didn't end very well for my character.
Yeah, but like we mentioned, I mean, you can do many characters from what I've seen, and you can change voices at the turn of a switch, it seems like.
I would love to be involved. Thank you very much. That's a very nice compliment. That's one of the best compliments you can pay a voice actor. That, and it doesn't even sound like you.
Exactly.
I would love to work on Titan 2 if it came to pass. I had a great time working on that show. Mike McFarland was my director down at Funimation in Dallas, and he and I worked together. We've been friends for years and worked together many, many, many times. I love working with him and the whole gang down there. They're just really fun. So I'd work on anything for them. But Titan 2, yes, bring it. Yes, officially, I would love to work on it. But they have not approached me yet.
Well, hopefully, I mean, because you are great at it.
Thank you.
And
you're so hired.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, guys, I got a new job. No, but speaking of that, when it comes to dubbing the Japanese acting, the Japanese voices and all that, do you find it more difficult to actually follow what they've already set in stone, or do they give you a little liberty to kind of give it your own spin?
Well, we do wind up giving it our own spin anyway, because we're not doing we're not just mimicking the voice.
Right.
We're not doing a sound alike. So my voice is inevitably going to be different than the original Japanese anyway. It's been my experience, the client likes us to stick as close as we can to the original Japanese in tone and in intention. Acting performances do tend to be different.
Yes.
But so we have a little bit of leeway there. But yeah, we try to stay as loyal to the Japanese character, the original Japanese character, as possible. Certainly out of respect, and that's the writers have written them to be that way.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to
be as faithful as
we're trying to be faithful, exactly, and keep the essence of the original show. We're not trying to change it. Sometimes the writing has to change because there'll be a joke that is hilarious in Japanese culture that we in the West just don't get, and it would fall flat. Yeah. So they have to localize the writing for that, but I don't have anything to do with it. So so that's not a burden on my shoulders.
Exactly. So the difference between working on American animation versus Japanese, which one do you prefer and why?
Well, there's much greater freedom working in original animation, because I'm not trying to match someone else's performance. I'm not trying to shove my words into someone else's mouth, and match lip flaps kind of thing. Because in that case, I don't have the timing. I'm not allowed the luxury of my own personal timing for my own personal performance. But we do get that, whether it's in original animation or working in video games, where the animation isn't set yet. And that's a lot more satisfying from a performance point of view, as an actor. I love working on anime because you get to see the animation, because it's been finished sometimes for years. Right. You get to see the animation that you're putting your voice to, and that's really cool. Yeah. From a fan standpoint, especially, which I am. But when you're doing original animation, sometimes all you get are sketches or an animatic. Really, really crude animation to sort of give you the idea of what you're going to be working toward. But I would have to say working on original animation is the most fun.
So not necessarily just American, but something that hasn't been done before.
Exactly. Okay. Something where the picture does not exist.
Right. And coming back to that point, where you make original work, and then, the movie is going to premiere whatever day. Do you go back and watch it? Do you like to see yourself or hear yourself on film?
Do. Yeah, I didn't used to. I didn't used to, which was kind of ridiculous. Yeah, I want to be a voice actor. I want to be in voiceover, but I don't like the sound of my own voice. I had to get used to the sound of my own voice. And that was part of the reason I think that I do so much character work
Okay.
is because those are the characters that sound the least like me.
Yes.
When I was Superman in Mortal Kombat versus DC, it was the strangest thing to watch those clips because Superman just basically sounds like me. It's basically my voice, and I'm watching it going, that's not how Superman sounds. This is a fan dub.
Exactly.
But no, in this case, in this world, Superman sounds like me.
Wow.
And I just have to get used to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do go back and watch stuff. I love seeing things that I've worked on, that my friends have worked on. The voiceover community is very close. We're very tight. And in fact, my girlfriend, significant other, Cindy Robinson, is a voice actress as well, and she's brilliant.
We actually got the chance to interview her yesterday.
And you are very fortunate.
Yeah.
Because she is, I strive to always be in the same room as her.
She's amazing as well.
Great. I love watching the things that she does because I think she's fantastic. And other friends, Keith Silverstein, Yuri Lowenthal, all of us. I mean, we're very close friends. And yes, we go to each other's kids' birthday parties and things like that.
That's awesome.
I love it. I love when my son is playing through a game and like Skyrim.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very prominent in Skyrim. Cindy's very prominent in Skyrim. Keith Silverstein's in Skyrim. Richard Epcar's in Skyrim. And he'll be playing through, and I'll be in the other room, and I'm like, oh, hey, that's Keith Silverstein. Or Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 2, which I am not in, but Cindy is. And again, I'll be doing something in the other room, and he'll get to a scene, and I hear Cindy's voice coming from the living room, and I'm like, I know that person. This is so cool.
Yes.
I love stuff like that. I really do.
Oh, that's so cool.